Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tottenham Hour. Oh, something's happened to the background. Where's Saigon?
Hey.
Love it, Brains. Brains has got two screens at the moment.
Hope
everyone is
Brains. I'm gonna argue with myself.
you could take the yin and yang position, Brains. Absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, Ben and Matt Hayes are not going to be able to join us today, but in place we obviously have, as always, David. How you doing, my man? The Irish Hotspur. He's joining us, and we also have the always brilliant Brains McLeod. He's with us today, and we should have Sai, but he seems to have gone missing in action. So I'm not really sure what.
Bit like West Ham, isn't it? Isn't it, Sim? Bit like West Ham, missing in action.
They got running. A bit like the Gooners, right?
I don't know how to move my shit, so I have to stand over here.
I guess I'll start with it. It's kind of screwed up the whole setup we had, but we push on. We persevere. Look, obviously, we beat West Ham on the weekend to keep our top four hopes alive in what was an absolutely vital victory for our season. And it was a massive victory in the London derby, which we haven't had many this season. Obviously, David, you were there on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. First of all, what was it like for you being in the stadium? What was the atmosphere for you like? What one of your first games, right? Or your second game at the stadium?
Second game at the new stadium. Look, I've been at White Hart Lane a good few times, but for me, I have to say, hands down, the best atmosphere I've been a part of from start to finish. From the moment I got down there, from the pub beforehand, it was bouncing into the concourse before the game, then even before kickoff and after the game. I mean, I don't even need to tell anybody the scenes. I mean, just being down there, hot, heavy, and sweaty with everybody else, scarves going around like mad. I'm giving it a good 1, 2, 3, 4. West Ham get battered. Everywhere they go. West Ham get battered. Everywhere they go. No, look, they deserve that. You know, I rattled their cages beforehand. Absolutely perfect. Set up the victory for the boys. What more do we want? Top four is still on, baby. Never stop believing.
Absolutely. Sai, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, Sai is now in his car and he's part of it. Oh, and he's how are you doing today, Sai? You all right?
Yeah, all right, mate. It's about the only place around here I can get a signal. So yeah, I might look a bit like a lunatic to everyone else sitting in my car all night.
There's no change there then, Sai. There's no change.
Exactly. It's no different to people that know me. Exactly. All good, guys. How's everyone? Lovely to see.
Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. Thank you for coming on and giving your time. Welcome. Brains, where were you watching the game on Sunday?
I missed the first part of it, and then I was basically working on a deadline, so I missed the first part of it. But I was I still, because I'm working with people across WhatsApp. I was still seeing chats, and people were sending me chats of things, and I was like, oh, it can't work. You can't break out of it. So I kind of saw like kind of highlights of the first half, and I was hearing what was happening. I had in one ear, I kind of had the studio in, so I was up with what was going on. Yeah, then I just tuned in for the second half, and yeah, it was interesting. It was like. If ever a game tells you what we need next season, it was that game. I felt like it was that game. You know, we have a cracking two strike force up front. Obviously, we need some extra up there. We have a really phenomenal player in Bentancur and a really phenomenal player in Kulusevski, and they really show their quality. I mean, I was hearing in my headphone like that basically Bentancur was just running the first half. Like he ran the game. He did everything. He ran the game and kind of died off a little bit in the second half. But I was hearing good things about Kulusevski, and when I was watching it, it was like everything that I was seeing Son do in attack, unbelievable. Great. Everything going backwards. Please, Sonny, please just go forward. Stay out our half. Don't go deep into midfield. Just be a striker, please, because he has one of these unbelievable games where it's like this is one of the greatest players ever, who should never fall deep because his touch lets him down and he makes bad decisions and it ruins your opinion of him. It's like just do that amazing thing, just run at the defense. And
But he's
when he does that,
he's selfless. He always gives himself for the team.
Yeah, he'll run himself into the ground just because that's who he is. That's his culture. But if he just stayed up with Harry can drop deep. Harry has the touch, but he can beat players in the midfield. He can put Son through. Son can make the runs Harry can't. So Son, stay up. You're the number 9. You stay up there. Don't worry about falling back. We have to believe in our midfield now. You know, so but the biggest thing, like we'll probably get to, is wingbacks. We're just absolutely dreadful.
And we will definitely get to that. But let's get Sai on. And obviously, you were there on Sunday. You were a couple rows behind us, as you usually are. It was obviously a massive victory and massive to get one over on West Ham and keep our top 4 hopes alive. But do you put the result and the manner of the performance more down to Tottenham playing really well, or West Ham maybe being drained from their exploits on Thursday?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Like, we've had so much negativity this season from the team. I think we always have to give the credit when it's due. I think from the offset we were up for that game. And how many games where it's maybe been in a reversal and we haven't turned up to games. So, you know, throughout the whole season, you obviously got to judge the season as a whole. And along the way, it's been very topsy-turvy for these teams around the area that we're in. And I think, for sure, we knew West Ham might be a bit tired from the other day. I was quite surprised at the likes of Antonio just not being on it at all. And I thought, wow, okay, this is interesting. But literally, and it's something I always said, like, I want to see Tottenham go for the jugular from minute 1, and we've done that quite a number of times in the last few weeks. Some have worked out, some haven't, but the intensity I felt never really dropped in that West Ham game, to be honest. I think even to the last few minutes, obviously obvious at the end because we managed to get through and goal a third time. But yeah, I think the only disappointing thing was the goal that we conceded. I think we've seen too much of that this season. It was actually Son at the back not marking, and you could argue the way we conceded the corner, but we're just not good at defending set pieces. That's the only thing really I could pick out as a down moment of that game. But as for the rest of it, it was fantastic. I echo what Brains just said. You know, the wing-back situation, they have been improving. We must make it clear that they have improved massively. But you can clearly see, because of the system, the players that we need in those positions really need to start being a bit more clinical at that top area, both in the crossing format and shooting a goal. Because the amount of times Reguilon got through was incredible. And it was just a shame, you know, if he had maybe better boots on, or someone else was in that position, it would have been goals. And that's not just this game. There's been a few of them now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, credit where it's due. We weren't doing this weeks back. We were all complaining about the system's not working, the system's not good enough, content needs to change things. But perseverance, the belief in it, came fruition the last few games, and particularly in West Ham. So for me, it was a good day out. We haven't had that kind of feeling for some time, and to do West Ham over as well, they're a tricky team, always against us. We're obviously not doing so well at the Olympic Stadium a while back. So yeah, it's great. It's great to go into the international break with that win and that feeling. And now Arsenal will have us breathing down their necks. And I think the pressure will be on them rather than us now. It's just about us maintaining what we saw at the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can do
Yeah.
that.
And David, obviously, our form going into the West Ham game, win-loss for about 15 games in a row. How important was it that we broke that record? And do you think psychologically it's important that we just finally got those consecutive wins for the first time since Boxing Day? Do you think it's a psychological thing when it comes to that?
No, of course it is. I mean, I was listening to Sonny's words after the game, and he was saying that now players can head away on international break with a free mind and then come back and deal with the task in hand. So, according to Sonny, it's definitely a psychological boost. It means they're not going away thinking of the inconsistencies or thinking what they can do. So it's definitely a psychological boost, but it's one that was a long time coming. You listen to Antonio Conte after the game when he was talking about the improvement in the understanding of the game management, technically, the understanding of the formation. And you could see that come to fruition in this West Ham game. I think all of that is a psychological advantage. Look, we as a fan base sat here for the last while criticising Conte, questioning Conte, when we just have to understand and sit back and realise that a manager has to come in and he's going to believe in his way, and he has to keep pushing and persisting in his way to get the very best out of this team, not only for the rest of this season, but so they can understand what to expect going into next season and understand how to play it. He can't keep chopping and changing formations just to get results. At some stage, you have to put the onus on the players, and that's what he's done by rolling them out there week in, week out. But what has really helped is we started with the same team the last 3 games, which also is starting to bring that consistency. And you can see it from the Brighton game to the West Ham game. For me, 2 games we absolutely dominated. But what I will say is I do think David Moyes plays into our hand, to be honest with you, by changing their formation. Because what he done is he put 5 at the back. Now, you go back and look at that first goal. Kane pressed the centre-back. Kudu pressed the left centre-back. The ball went out to Masuaku, whatever you want to call him. And then the Irish Cafu came in, nicked the ball off, and we went and got the first goal from that. And from there on then, West Ham were chasing that game in a formation that they have never, ever really played before, without a proper attacking outlet, and that showed throughout the game. So it's huge psychological advantage to us, basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah, and obviously it was fantastic to break that record, and I think it was also mentally draining for the fans, isn't it? Brains, when every time we get a victory, it was followed by a loss. You didn't really know where this team stands, but in terms of league results now, we are 4 wins out of 5. All 4 wins as well have been by 2 or more goals. So you feel like we're finally getting our form together?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point that Si was making, and the same with David as well. It's like we haven't really. You can see that we're playing different. You can see that like structurally something has changed, and it is the idea of like using the system to its full kind of potential. I think like I was also saying, even when we beat Leeds and then Everton, like yeah, sure, maybe in the past we would have like got past those games if even playing as bad as we were, but maybe like 1 or 2-0. The fact that we used those games as kind of like stepping stones for confidence to like blast them and then build on like, look how good you can play. Because look at Leeds have had some decent kind of results now. Like they're actually showing they're not a bad team, you know? So, but it's like if Spurs play the way Spurs can play and use can tap into the strengths and ability of their key players, then we should be competing, you know? And so it is nice to see that as soon as you can see though, when things start to work, when someone's building a master plan, you're building a strategy, what highlights when certain things work is what's not working. You can really see clearly what's not working. And that's the benefit you get of playing the same team, trying the same things. You see where it's going wrong. So like an attack, we're strong. We just are so strong. Kulu brings something else that just makes this top three work. Harry, even if he's not scoring, he could have had a hat trick of assists, you know? So he's got to get it. Where's he gone? Yeah. So so it's just a case of it's like fixing the areas that are crap, you know.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. And obviously, David, in the top four race, obviously we're 3 points behind Arsenal now going to international break. We have they have a game in hand, but do you think it's fair, like of Arsenal's part, they've won 5 in a row. I think of their past 6 wins as well, 5 of them have been by only one goal. They've been fairly tight victories. They have won 5 away from home, but if I dug a little deeper, and of those 5 games they've won away from home, I think Spurs have won 3 of the equivalent games, and the other 2 we haven't played yet. But you know, Tottenham at their best this season, especially under Conte, they've gone to the Etihad. They've beaten Man City. They gave Liverpool a real good run for their money at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Really should have won that game. As I've said before, 4 of our past 5 games, we've won by 2 or more goals. Like we quite significantly beat the opposition. Arsenal at the moment definitely are playing more consistently, but they are only winning by the odd goal, and they kind of, in some lot of games, like Watford and so on, are kind of scraping by. Do you think it's fair to say that if both teams are at their very best, that Tottenham are the better team, or do you think the fact that Arsenal being more consistent, like, does that make them a better team?
No, it doesn't. Look, for me, we have to understand we've gone through a change of manager this season, and now we're starting to see over the last while the fruition of Antonio Conte coming into Tottenham. Some of the effort he's getting out, some of the players like Dier and Davies, and then some of the other players like bringing in Bentancur and Kulu, how quickly they've settled in. Right now, we're a team we've been simmering all season, and right now we're coming to the boil. We are better than Arsenal. Arsenal have had their highs, and they've got a very tricky fixture period coming up. And I think after them fixtures, you'll see the true Arsenal prevail, to be honest with you. And you will start to see a lot of the inconsistency as well. Look, over the course of the season, we've been unlucky. The international breaks come back with key injuries to players and stuff like that. So we've been missing a lot of players throughout this season. But now when we have our best players fit and we put our first 11 out there, we are way better than Arsenal, in my opinion. And that all starts with the persistence of Conte in the formation, the persistence of playing it, the players getting better technically. And what you're now seeing is the ball being built up from the back. Bentancur dropping into pockets of space to pick up that ball. And then what Højbjerg also does, he stays very close to him lately, and he's there for the option. But 9 times out of 10, Bentancur is looking for that pass forward, that pass into the front three, that quick pass, which we've been lacking all season long. And you can really see that with Bentancur. You go back and watch, I think it was our second goal, and there was a chance before that as well, where Sonny hit the post. Both quick passes from Bentancur through the lines. And now that we have our front three that are all combining, it's Son, Kane, and Kulu. What you're seeing is Kane, especially against West Ham, dropping in, providing that outlet, picking up the ball, getting turned, and Sonny then coming into the middle and breaking the lines, running in behind the defence or running at them. He's starting to look confident again. Kulu providing an option, looking after the ball. But what the biggest benefit of us and the goals we're scoring right now, and the reason why we're scoring more than Arsenal is because our front three are all on one wavelength. Our decision-making, I don't care what anybody says, is up there with the best in the Premier League. Kulu, Son, and Kane, all 3 of them. When do you see them breaking and having to use Højbjerg or Bentancur to be able to rotate the ball across the forward line? You barely seen that against West Ham. They got at them, ran at them, and between the 3 of them managed to create chances for each other. And I think that's why you will see us finish this season a lot better than Arsenal. And that's why I believe we're a better team than Arsenal.
Yeah, and
to counteract that though, we shouldn't lose that goal. And that goal isn't just lost because of Sonny. That goal's lost because Son, Davies, misunderstanding. But Doherty shouldn't give that. Like that's a corner against the team who are the highest goal scorers from corners. Like, and you're just letting a corner go, and Sonny at the end of the game letting the ball run out. It's like you're playing the team that scored the most goal from corners. Like these are the little things. So while we're amazing in attack, we're gonzo in defense at times. You know, even through that game, Dier balls clearing the ball into the center of the pitch, like wacky moments. It's like this is why we leak goals. We might have a great defender in Romero, but really that's it. If we're really honest, either side of them.
What I will say though, if you look at the Leeds game, we let them have, I think it was like 19 shots on our goal. West Ham we let have 6 with 1 on target. So we are improving defensively from that game onwards. But I do agree with you when it comes to Doherty. What was the very first thing United done? Put the ball over Doherty's head. He judged the flight of it. Sancho was in, pass it to Ronaldo. He had a shot. He was looking for a hand ball. From the corner, Doherty switched off. Ronaldo got the winner. It was the same against West Ham. He got his feet in a tangle, and it was a ball over his head he couldn't deal with. He didn't win the corner. They got the flick on, and then they had a free man at the back post. So defensively, there are issues there, and it's mainly for me from set pieces. Doherty, we know his weaknesses, but we are getting the best out of him. Right now, we are getting the best out of him, I do believe.
As Sai would say, absolute shambles when it comes to free kicks. When we give away free kicks, it's almost like, there you go, here's a goal. Every time around their box, someone goes and makes a rash. And it's the brilliance of Romero is how he plays, and the flip double-edged sword is how he plays. He will give away free kicks. Everyone around our box, they just recklessly give away free kicks, and we lose goal after goal, which tells you we don't actually have someone who's controlling the box. We don't have a Van Dijk going, oh, like in, like move, stay. We don't have that. And so we might be looking at our defense going, yeah, cool, these guys can make blocks, they can throw their bodies in front of, Ben Davies can make a 20-yard run back at a last ditch. You can do that. That's all like kind of instinctual defending, but control your line. Like set up yourselves against a free kick, and you see us, we absolutely shit the bed on those.
And just quickly on defensively as well, though, I do think that Antonio Conte is well aware of what Brains is saying, because if you look at the way we defended in that West Ham game, we defended as a team. Everyone got back, but then when we broke, it was mainly Son, Kane, Kulu, Bentancur, and a lot of the times maybe Reguilon, but we still held so many people back defensively so that we couldn't be countered on. And I do think that maybe the formation, and like Conte was saying, the players starting to understand the formation and stuff like that, you might see some of them holes plugged in that back line, which I did think we saw against West Ham.
Definitely. And going to Brains as well on the top 4 race, first of all, do you agree that do you think that Tottenham are at their best better than Arsenal, or have they shown that to be? And if that is the case, will that stand us in good stead going into the latter part of the season when push comes to shove? Or do you think consistency will win out the day?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. It's not like, this is one of the things in football is that you can look at a better team and you go like, well, yeah, better player, better team. And that better team, a lot of the times, will not play better than a team who have played for a couple seasons, figured out their system, and they just have everything down. And so sometimes when I watch Arsenal just now, it's like they have everything done. Like it's down pat. They figured it out. They're working to a strategy. They have a system, and they believe in that. They'll stick by it. So that's what results in consistency. So like they might win by 1 goal, but they just need a win. Like they don't care. They just get the win. Whereas we are a better football playing team. When we break, it looks so beautiful. We can do such good things. Their defense is probably, I would say, that's a little bit stronger. Like it just looks a little bit stronger at times. They just have players in the right places who are just that little bit more on it. So I look at the two teams and go, it's very, very little between it. We have the bigger potential. If we tapped into it and we played it, we shouldn't even be in the discussion with them. That's the annoying thing, is that from midfield up, I think we have the better team. We just lack in defense badly. And you're looking at 9 games, and sure, like we have the easiest run, but we are the most likely to screw up an easy run. And that's the problem. We are Spursy, and it's not just how good your teams are, it's a mentality. And while Conte can get the team playing right and the systems playing right and get eventually, he still needs a bit of time, but get to where he wants to go, I think we're still going to struggle to get rid of that Spursy, oh no, it's happening again mentality. I don't know how we can get rid of that.
Brian, should not think the mentality is changing though, because if you look at our record, like Sim was alluding to at the start of the podcast, in London derbies, we've lost 8 games in London this year, 4 of them at home and 4 of them away. We haven't had a good record in London derbies, and we were in a pressure cooker situation going into this game. If we didn't win, top 4 was over, and we needed that win, but we got over the line and we done it convincingly.
Yeah, no, I think those two performances in isolation suggest, boom, this is how Tottenham can play. And you look at the Man City game, this is how Tottenham can play. Tottenham can be a world-beating team if they play like this, consistency, if they believe that they are this good a team. And this is where then you look at certain players and letting certain little holes. You know what it's like if you're playing centre-back. I'm not centre-back, but I've had players tell me this with problems in my team. If like they can't go to their the right wing guy, they can't go there because they don't believe in him. And so it puts pressure on them when they don't believe in him. Well, you can see when you're passing around, you see the quick turns and no, we'll go this way. No, we'll go this way, or we'll go that way. You can see players don't believe in certain players on the park. And that is a huge flaw. And so it's not just the kind of mentality thing. The mentality thing is when you get a group of players you got pre-season, they go on tour, they're living with each other, they love each other, they build a wall, like I just don't think we're there yet. We have the potential to be there, and I want to see us get there. But like, I'm just like, my sphincter tightens at the idea of thinking of this running. Like we've got a whole week of pumping ourselves up and be like, yeah, top 4, we'll get it. The reality comes, I'm going to be shitting myself nervous when that first game back. It's going to be so nerve-wracking because it just takes one loss now to an easy team that we think we should beat. And now when you're looking at it like, is Newcastle an easy game now? Are these games really that easy? It's coming to they're in a battle to survive. Other teams, the lower league teams, like Norwich and Burnley, they're on a battle to survive. Are they really that easy? We've seen it before. Last day games always go wrong. So I think we should be happy with fifth this season. But obviously we want fourth. We need fourth, and I'm not really quite there believing just yet that we can get fourth over the head start that they have over us.
What do you reckon, Side? Going to the last stretch of games, Arsenal obviously with the tougher fixtures, but they're obviously with the 3-point gap and with an extra game as well, and they're playing a bit more consistently. But Spurs, maybe scoring more goals at the moment and winning the games by bigger margins, but probably more likely to slip up an easier game. Although they've shown, maybe unlike Arsenal, that they're capable of turning up in a game against Man City or Liverpool and picking a performance. So how do you read the situation going to the last few games?
Yeah, I think there's been, many a time where we've been in a strong position and lost it. And I feel that's a bit of pressure. And I think Arsenal will feel that in these coming games. Brian said like Newcastle's not easy. They want to secure Premier League, for next year, and I know they're out of it now, the bottom 3, but only just, and they want to do that, and they're in a bit of a momentum at the moment, so it's not going to be easy for us. But the games, on paper, the games would go in our favour, I would say, between the two teams, but. This league's ridiculously unpredictable. I don't know what Tottenham team turns up, and I'm sure the other teams don't feel the same way as well. It's the same for United. We can't write these teams off yet at all. It's not just us and Arsenal. I still think, West Ham can still pull something out of the bag potentially. I don't think they will, but they could. And United, of course, they need Champions League football. Mm-hmm. They have a humongous wage bill to cater for amongst all the other stuff. So it's going to be fascinating. And I know for a fact Sky Sports are manipulating the Spurs and Arsenal game. There's no doubt about it. They're waiting They're waiting to see when can we slot this thing that's going to make it more interesting for everyone.
There's rumors they're going to play that game, second last game of the season, and I wonder who that benefits, because that would mean we're playing. We go to Anfield, and then right after Anfield we have a midweek North London derby.
Yeah.
So, if that is the case, who do you think that favours?
Well, this is the thing. Again, this Liverpool fixture, I think. Arsenal obviously played them recently. We did very well at home to Liverpool structurally, and that was definitely a drilled game from the training grounds. And I think we could do something similar, but we mentioned about these mistakes. This is the thing. I've said it all season. I've said it for a couple of seasons now. Like, I'd be very interested to see, like, I get this word right, statistician, if that isn't a word. Someone who
statistician.
Statistician.
Yeah. Someone
You're out of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting late. I'm tired. So, like, what it means, like, I'd be very interested to know how many games we have lost because of our own mistakes. Not if another team plays well, I can handle it. Well, I can't handle it. I hate losing, but like you can kind of sort of sit back and go, okay, that's understandable. But when you're making mistakes, that's when you look at the end of the season and go, wow, how many points have we actually dropped here because of these situations? So, like I said, on paper, all these games are doable. The Liverpool one is, out of all of them, for us, is the trickiest by far. And the only other stipulation of that is Liverpool are going to be fighting for a title. Like, it's not like a few months back where they were like 10, 12 points behind. We're talking about 1 or 2 points in this now by the time the games are caught up and stuff. So it's going to be mental. I'm really excited and nervous at the same time. But I do always feel like we would get top 4, because in general, I think overall we do have the better, not necessarily a humongous gap, but I think we have the general over better team. But more importantly, I think we have a better manager that can handle this entire situation. That's the only main reason why I think we'll get over the line. But I also look back to the point about what Brain said about Arsenal being quite strong looking right now. That wasn't the situation at the beginning of the season. They were at the bottom, remember? And it took, people like, this project is terrible. Arteta out. All of this was going on. Everyone was fed up. And literally, what was it, 5-6 games in, all of a sudden they started switching on, and you could actually replicate that mirrored effect to Tottenham in the sense that we had a good 5 to 10 games of sussing things out. Finally, Conte realizing what us fans have realized, that some players are absolutely shocking, and then eventually, right, this is the system I want to play, which can't be switched on overnight. And then finally, albeit yes, definitely can still improve, we are seeing results, we are seeing performances, and even some of the ones we've lost, we feel like we've been a bit hard done by. So I feel the momentum is swung our way, and I think the pressure will be on Arsenal 100%. They're now looking behind their shoulders, literally right around the corner, for us to try and take this. So I think it's going to be exciting, but I do think we can pip it. I think we can pip the top.
Momentum swings our way just in time for an international break.
Yeah, exactly.
As always.
Yeah. But isn't it? But with Tottenham as well, how many times have we seen with Spurs going into this stage of the season, like us have like a 7 or 8, or even I've seen even a 10-point gap on the likes of Arsenal, only for Tottenham to somehow let it slip over the last 10 games. And how many times have we lost top 4 only on the last day to Arsenal? Like, it's happened 3 or 4 times. So but on the flip side, that just goes to show how these situations you maybe look like they're unreachable, but things have changed very, very quickly in football, and hopefully for us that can happen in the second half of the season. But let's move on to the next topic, because before we move on to the next topic, actually, let's read a few of these super chats. Leon M96, come on you Spurs, says, would you take Origi on a free as a backup to Kane? Let's ask. Brain says, yep. David?
Hells yeah. Origi's great.
No?
The guy's a donkey.
You fancy him? You don't think he would be a good backup?
No. No.
As a backup?
He's scored quite a few important goals for Liverpool, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he does. Like, he scored on the Champions League final against us. He scored a Merseyside winner for them before. But look, for me,
Barcelona in the semi-final, we scored a brace in the semi.
yeah, that's all well and good. But look, still for me, I just think he's a bit of a donkey. I wouldn't want him as backup. I have higher standards. I set my standards high, lad.
Interesting. Sai, Origi on a free as a backup striker?
I think there's definitely more options out there, but if he was available and that was, I wouldn't be angry. I think he's in an unfortunate situation at Liverpool because their front three is insane.
Their front six is insane.
Yeah, but they've also brought in Jota and Diaz after Origi's been there, you know. So he's obviously not doing something right to be able to get into the team.
Yeah, there's something not right there, isn't there? Whether it's in the background or Jurgen's thoughts behind that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I think we would probably. I think Dybala would be a better choice, to be honest.
I think Origi's the cheaper option, then, isn't he?
Yeah,
definitely. Another Sujay from. Yeah, that's definitely true. Aditya Srivatsava with a super chat. He says, guys, if Conte is given a net budget of 150 to 200 million to spend, Spurs win the league next season or at least a trophy, guarantees. FFP allows them to spend a lot. Do you think we're guaranteed a trophy with at least 150 million spend? What do you guys think?
150 I think is a bit short. Like,
need 200.
Yeah, I'd say 200 minimum. Like, just because I think you still need to. I want upgrades on a lot of players. Like, I would upgrade on Dier. I'd upgrade on get two central left backs in for Davies completely gone. I'd bring in 4 wing backs. I'd bring in Dybala. You're already talking like way over 150 million there, you know.
And talking on wing backs, that moves us on to our next topic, which is size kind of gone lopsided. All right, we'll leave it that. So a player who's coming for a bit of criticism, and Simon mentioned it earlier, is Sergio Reguilon. There's been reports, obviously, in the media that he's subject to interest from the likes of Barcelona and other teams in Spain. And obviously Real Madrid have their clause this summer, which is their last summer to activate it, a buyback clause for around £40 million. Obviously, in the last 2 games, he's gone through on goal. And he's, I think, screwed up a couple of one-on-one chances to get some goals. And seeing as how important Conte's system relies on the wing-backs, I'll go to David first. In terms of Reguilon, is he a player you look to upgrade in the summer? Do you think he's a player who just needs a bit more improving and he could be a star in this team? Or do you think he's just not of the required quality? What's your opinion on Reguilon? And would you be disappointed? Would you want Madrid to come in and activate the clause in the summer?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, I like Reguilon. I think going forward, I think he definitely offers an option out the left-hand side. Under Nuno, he was our most creative player in all games since Conte's coming in. How many times have we seen him break down that left-hand side? He creates that overlap for Sonny every time. Does a lot of unselfish running. Look, for me, I don't think we need to upgrade. I think the only thing that we need is for him to have a bit more composure in the final third, either shooting or crossing the ball. I think he needs to be better. But that's something that you can definitely work with this guy on, in my opinion. I don't think, in terms of when I look at the whole squad, I think we definitely need, you look at Tanganga, which is sad to say. I wanted to give him a chance, but I don't think he's good enough. Rodon, not good enough. Sanchez, not good enough. So for me, you need 2 centre-backs at least this summer. You need to be investing in the right wing-back position. I would still like another centre midfielder or 2 and someone else up in the forward areas. And I just don't think adding a left wing-back to that position is necessary. Now, look, if Conte wants it and he feels it's not good enough and he feels like he needs to improve that position, I'm all for it. Go and do whatever Conte wants to do. But when I look at it, I just don't think necessary. When you look at a left-hand side, it hasn't really been our problem all season. Our problem has been up front. It's been centre midfield. It's been out on the right wing, or it's been centre back. None of the problems have really stemmed from that left side this season whatsoever. So for me, I don't think we need to upgrade. No, I think in terms of where we are, I think the money would be spent better elsewhere in other positions for me. I think it's maybe one that maybe if you want to do it next January or the summer after that, fair enough, go and do it. But I don't think it's an emergency this summer.
What do you think, Brains? Do you see Reguilon as a player that you wouldn't mind Madrid activating their clause for in the summer? Or do you think this is a guy we have to hope they don't and we have to hang on to, and he's a player that should be starting even next season? What's your opinion right now on Reguilon?
I think Reggie is the best, even if it's not like right now, but it's like the best of the potential of the wingbacks we have. But I still don't think, I think he should be better. You know, so I'd say if anyone I'd keep him. The rest of them, Gonzo, and then get better, you know, and get like Cess. We can't carry Cess another season. The dude's never going to play. He's injury prone. We can't carry the guy. Reggie. So if you can, the problem is if you can get good money for Reggie, then we could invest in like getting like a really good player and then like a really good young backup for them. I think on both sides, you get a really top proven player and then you get a really good young backup like Tariq Lamptey and Calvin Ramsey. On that side, DJ Spence, and you get like another big, young player or someone like that, So it's not that it's a problem because they are good players. And throughout the season, I've seen like Reggie's touch sometimes when the big long balls come over, he's got elite level world-class touch. It's when if we are going to play the system where wingbacks are important and they actually score goals, like in a Conte system, then we need goal-scoring wingbacks. And right now, currently, we don't have that. So if it was down to Conte and he's like, if I was Conte, I would be, if you want to play that system, go and get goal-scoring wingbacks.
What do you think, Sai? Do you think Reguilon can become that goal-scoring wingback we crave? Because he does get in those positions a lot, doesn't he? Even in the last 2 games where he's been criticised, he is getting in those positions where he's one-on-one with the keeper or he's beyond the last defender. And it's very difficult to do, to get in those positions consistently. Unfortunately, when it comes to shooting, his quality hasn't quite been there. I still think his crossing quality is pretty decent, but what do you think of Reguilon? Is he a player you feel we need upgrading, or do you think he could be the future left wing back for us?
I think a lot of it comes down to the training mechanism. I think the system everyone's getting more and more used to now, but I think that because he's getting in these positions now, it means that something's working. Mm-hmm. Now you can kind of almost tick that box off fully. The next step would be, right, you're in these positions now. This is what you need to start thinking more about when you're in them. And of course, there's a chance to cross or there's a chance to try and score. The scoring, I mean, the crossing isn't too bad from him. He does tend to find most players, but that scoring position is where we make a huge difference, like in a game, that West Ham game, we could probably have been 4-1 up, within that midsection of the second half, just from two plays significantly on that left-hand side where Harry, and in fact, it was even the last game where Reguilon got put through, I think twice against Brighton, wasn't it? Almost replica of each other. And I think, can you imagine
if you have Perisic in those positions, those are goals. And Gareth Bale, goals. Those are goals.
Gareth Bale, exactly, was about to say. It's like, is that perfect ball, which a wing back or a winger would love to have. And maybe Diaz would have fitted that position at some point if we had got him, but we didn't. So I think I would love to see him improve that aspect of his game. If he starts getting 1 or 2, let's say he gets 2 or 3 goals by the end of the season, I'd be over the moon, because it's shown a very, very interesting transition from the whole team across the board, really, of being pretty terrible everywhere to now understanding a system and getting into those positions, and then now taking it to that next step where what we need wing backs to do. We need them to defend in one side, but we also need them to do their job. I'm going into darkness in the other end as well. So for me, I'd like to give him more time with this now being more in place than it ever has been before. But yeah, I don't know enough for those positions in the world to say who could we bring in as a better replacement? Obviously, I know quite a bit about Spence and some of these other younger players in other leagues, in our own English leagues, as it were. Maybe we can find a gem. We for sure arguably could have let KWP go a bit too early, and I did think that at the time, but that's just the management decision at the time. They wanted someone, maybe I say we want someone more ready and complete, but then we brought in Emerson and all this, and they were all terrible. So Serge Aurier, of course, obviously on different sides, but it's that principle that I think we've got a good left wing back there, and I just think he needs to tidy up that last thing. And as I said, if we can get just to prove that he can do it, if we can get 1 or 2 goals out of him at the end of the season, I think he'll do massively confidence-wise. And I think people will start seeing that a bit more differently. But yeah.
But the thing is, with Reguilon, you can work with him on composure, on finishing, on crossing a ball, on striking a ball. What you can't work on him, or what you can't teach him, is the desire, the hunger, and the work rate to constantly and continuously get up there and get into them positions. So it's definitely something that is coachable, rather than something you have to replace that you can't coach into the guy.
David,
I go with that. I agree with that.
Quick fire answer, David. How many wing backs would you sign in the summer?
One right wing back.
One right wing back, and which one would you keep then? Out of the right, Doherty, I'm guessing.
No, I'd actually keep Emerson. I think defensively, Emerson is a guy.
Yeah, I hear.
This is my opinion. I look, for me, I think defensively, Emerson is a good right wing back. I think going forward, there's questions, but I believe if you look under Pochettino, he had on both sides one good defensive wing back that he trusted more than the other, and one good attacking wing back that he trusted more than the other. He had it with Davies and Rose for years, and he had it with Walker and Trippier for years. So for me, I think you always need that defensive option, and I think the fact that Conte picked him against Man City proves to me that he thinks he's better defensively than Matt Doherty. If you also look at some of the stuff Matt Doherty was at fault for against United, if Emerson was in there, I don't believe that would have happened. And I just think maybe we need a better right wing back going forward in the summer, because that's if we're being honest, that was our main criticism of Emerson. He can't do it going forward, but no one was really criticising him defensively. So for me, I just think you need an attacking option down that right wing back side.
Brains, how many wing backs in the summer?
4.
4. So you're letting all our wing backs right now. So
yeah, I mean, I would keep Reggie because he's a good kid, and I do agree that you can, if you get in his head, and you can actually train the striking thing in. So yeah, I mean, 4 is a bit of a lulls, but yeah, 3. Keep Reggie 3. And then get 3 more.
Sai?
I think 2, just 1 on each side would be beneficial. I think we just need to grow up a bit more as a club and a team, like the level that we need to get there. But as I said, like, this is easy to say. And again, my knowledge isn't great of these positions elsewhere in the world. But I do think that what we're looking for is almost that complete package. And I just don't know how many options there are out there that can tick the box, that are ready to go. And we know Conte wants ready to go players, obviously. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'd probably say 1 of each side would be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need 1 on each side as well. And I think as much as Doherty's playing well at the moment, I kind of feel like I would rather use this now as because I think we weren't getting any money for him until maybe now. And now he's starting to play well. Now he's showing what he can do. I think now is not the time to rest on laurels and say, okay, he's going to be our right wing back going forward. I think now's the time to cash in, maybe even get a bit of a profit on what we paid for him, potentially.
You get money for Emerson, though. You get money for Emerson. A lot of teams
maybe sell them both. Yeah, to be honest, I'll probably sell them. Yeah, maybe 3. And Cesar
get decent money for Emerson because a lot of teams play a back 4, and he's actually suited to that. So.
One thing I would say about Emerson, though, and it's kind of that damn lights, right? One thing I would say about Emerson
is getting darker and darker over there. Sorry.
I know, like I'm trying to see if I can get any light on my face whatsoever for this now.
Any more dark it's going to be, and Batman's going to appear in the back seat.
I know,
in the,
right?
again.
The Batmobile. So yeah, the one thing I would say about Emerson, and I don't think he's quite good enough yet, but his age is very interesting, because we think about players that we've let go, that are not necessarily fully developed yet, and I don't think Emerson obviously is fully developed either. But you're looking at the likes of, as we just mentioned, KWP and Sirkin as well in those positions. Like, are we being too hasty in the sense that, I mean, what's Emerson, like 22?
22.
Yeah, 22, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's an incredibly still a young age for a defender that's learning the ropes still.
But how much time do you want to give it, though? I mean,
well, of course,
we're just going to be angry all season long if we're interchanging to right backs.
Yeah, I get it. But I guess what I'm trying to do is find some good aspects of it to think about. Is like, is his first season, in and out of the team, arguably because performance wise we've been terrible most of the seasons, but now we're coming into a good part of the way we play. Emerson is obviously coming on for X amount of time each game, but I just feel like I don't want it to be another one where we just go, oh no, it's not working for us right now. Like, it's almost like we want to click our fingers and have the answers right now, and we let him go, and then he starts performing to where he's going to be, and then before you know it, we're wasting time going around in circles finding other players. I think it could be a time thing, but I guess we're not the managers. Conte knows him more than anyone else, and it'll be his decision to go. Have I got time for this guy? Have I got time to improve him? Yes or no?
Conte wants to go for the league title next season.
Of course,
that's what I'm saying. So these conversations are going to be pretty brutal, like in their backroom staff meetings. It's like we have all these kind of like, we're fans and we like players and stuff.
Yeah,
you're talking about big decisions. If you're trying to win a title,
no emotion.
You're going to be cutting a lot of players.
Yeah, I like Emerson, but I just feel like he's never going to be the wing back that Conte wants him to be. He's just never going to be a player that can be decisive in the final third. I don't think he's I think he's shown enough already to show that he's never going to be that kind of right back. He can be a good player. I'm not saying he can't be a good right wing back. I'm sure he can be, but not to the level Conte needs. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Next topic I want to talk about, probably the last topic, is Eric Dier. He's been talking recently. Let me see if I can. Where have I got it? I've lost the quotes. All right. No, here they are. He's had an interview very recently describing how well he's playing under Antonio Conte. And he says, I feel for me, this is consistently my best season I've had so far at Tottenham, not just as a defender, but overall. I don't think I've ever shown the consistency and performance that I've shown this season. And I feel like my football is at its best, that it's best it's ever been, in my opinion. Si, do you think this is
taking your bloody time, buddy? Taking your bloody time.
We'll go with you then first, Brains. Do you think this is his best ever season at Tottenham, or do you think he's played better?
Yeah, but it's like I call this the case of chronic diarrhea. It's like it's taken him so long to get comfortable and to play, and yet we still see through this season, like last season, he had unforced errors. He cost us around about 18 to 20 points. And that lost us positions in the league. One player lost us 2 or 3 positions in the league. And so for me, it was like, and like everyone, everyone's like, that's Dier guy, get rid of him. He's like the laughing stock of the league. He was Harry Maguire last season. This season, he shows a bit of consistency. All right, fair enough. Oh, good. Any one player can get a little bit of a run of consistency. He clearly understands his position a little bit better. He's working with a great manager. All good. Good enough as the backup centre back. Not good enough to challenge for league titles. And even when he's in this and he feels that he's playing so good, how many times have you seen him? Like, I don't know if it was the Southampton game, or like the first West Ham game, he puts a ball straight into the middle and like creates a chance. This game the other day, straight clearing the ball straight into the middle. It's like, come on, dude, you are the central defender. You are the man at the back. You cannot take those risks. And there's been countless times that I still think he's got those mistakes in him. And yes, they can dissipate over time and evaporate. And yeah, maybe after all this time, all these years at Spurs, you finally become a decent player that we can sell and get decent money for you now. Thanks very much. But we can sell you for 40 million now and get really good, young, hardcore, equal to Romero style player in, and then someone like Schlotterbeck or someone like Stefan de Vrij next to them. That's a world-class beating defense. We can't sit here going, yeah, but yeah, cool, Dier, and get maybe Davies. It's like, no, guys, we need world-class players. We're Spurs. We have to contend. So I do like him. I feel sorry for saying the things, but I just want to see the back of him.
This is his 8th season at Tottenham now, and obviously he's had England call-ups. He's been to World Cups and Euros previously, but he says he feels in his 8th season he's now playing his best football in a Tottenham shirt. And do you agree with that?
Yes, to an extent. I think a lot of it has been down to who he's been partnered with. If we recall back to the first half of the season, pretty much, with Sanchez, absolutely terrible. It comes back to, I can't remember who said it, actually, one of you guys earlier, about specific players playing. Brain's saying, specific players playing, you don't want to pass to them, or you feel like you have to do 2 or 3 jobs because you don't trust the guy next to you. And I've seen that across the park in multiple positions. But since Romero's been back, I think Dier is one of those confidence players, not just from a management perspective, but I think from players around him. And I think, to conclude, his performances have been because of the improvement and better players around him. He's now got Bentancur in front of him, which is an absolutely phenomenal piece of transfer work. I didn't know anything about him. I feel like I'm watching Dembele again. Just absolutely incredible the way he protects that back four. That is substantially going to help with everything in that defense. And having Romero next to you, someone that actually knows what they're doing, helps him as well. Massively. But the beginning of the season, and I was one of those, saying, if I see Sanchez and Dier on that team sheet again, I don't want to go and watch games anymore, because it was just horrible. And I think over the years, that has been an issue for him. We know he has potential. We know he's massive talent. He has been called up to England, of course, but he's got lost along the way, as have many of the players. Think of like Dele and all this over those few years. And there are reasons behind that. I know he's been ill with certain issues as well, and injuries. So it can't be easy. And when you are a confidence player and you've got that mentality situation, I can understand it might be difficult. So we've got to remember they're humans at the same time as well. But back to this point, I do believe, certainly the second half of the season, I would probably say, because Doherty, to be fair, has gone from being absolutely terrible to actually doing something. I feel Dier has been probably the most improved player under Conte since he's arrived. And I think that will go strength to strength. I do think he has to be involved in the team moving forwards for a consistency in the back end. I think he's probably a great character there, knows what he's doing. He's maturing. You can see it in his conversations, the way he plays. But yeah, I do agree with Brains. There's an element that we do need to improve on that. But I don't see why he can't be a part of that puzzle. I don't see why we can't have Dier, Romero, and a top-class defender to play alongside them, whoever that may be. I think we would have a very, very secure defence back there if we can get the wing-backs doing what we want them to do. And as I said, Højbjerg's been brilliant. Bentancur's been brilliant. I think those two are fantastic together. We could improve those areas, but it helps Dier massively. And I think all those things have concluded into why that might have been how he has been, and why he is the guy he is right now that we see and love again, because all those I Love Eric Dier songs are starting to come back, and that's what we want. That is what we want to hear and see. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, and David, how close are you to lifting the nickname Moon Boot from Eric Dier the way he's playing at the moment?
Well, he was well and truly moon boots against United because he pumped 3 or 4 balls straight down to his throat. But look, for me, I actually use it as a term of endearment now, to be honest with you. I'm shouting at him in the stadium as a term of endearment because, look, rightly so. He earned a nickname. He deserved all the criticism. He at Tottenham Hotspur should not have to wait 8 years for someone to put in one good season. We shouldn't have to do it. That's unacceptable. But
no, because it's not unfair, David. He's not been rubbish this whole time at Tottenham, has he?
Well, I mean, he's barely been on the pitch, so he's been MIA. So maybe not rubbish, but he's been missing.
He got called up for England for and started for England in a few tournaments, didn't he? For a reason.
What reason? What reason? You had no one else to pick. You had no one else to pick. You had no one else to pick at the time. No, you had no one else to pick at the time, lad. Look, with Dier, look, if we're being honest, he hasn't been the player that we always thought he would be. Maybe he had one good season under Pochettino, but apart from that, we shouldn't have to wait 8 years for a player to turn in consistently over the course of a season. Look, for me, I have changed my opinion a little bit on the guy. I do think that, look, I do agree that we definitely need to upgrade on Dier and Davies, in my opinion. But do we need to sell them in the summer? Hear me out. I don't think we should sell them. And this is a big change for me. I've been huge critics of the guy and I want him gone. But the reason why I'm going to say this is because if we did get an injury to, say, Romero and whoever else we brought in to play in ahead of Dier and Davies in the summer, I would much rather Dier or Davies step into that team rather than a Sanchez or a Rodon or a Tanganga, because the drop-off is just too costly. We've seen it this season. It is way too costly. So for me, I would definitely keep them around as squad players who can maybe help new players fit into the local area, suggest kids for their schools for the kids, whatever else. But look, like I said, I've changed my tune on the guy. I do think if we want to compete in all fronts next year, I do think we probably need to keep Dier and Davies, but I would definitely improve on them in terms of for the first 11. But they'd be good to come in one-off games, in cup games, or if we had an injury for a little period of time.
Look, there's two ways this can go. It's like it's like the two sides of a kind of movie arc. Is next season Dier has this unbelievable season and he lifts a trophy, and that just then makes all of that time he's been here. It tells a beautiful story of a club that stood by their players when they went through the tough times. They saw them through to when they finally became great, and they one day lifted that trophy. That's one way it could go. The other way it goes is that he dies at 80. We take his bones and we just make a fucking trophy, and we just make a trophy and put it in the trophy case of emptiness, and we just left every year. We just left the Dier trophy.
Well, we can't do that. It's actually spread across the stadium. He said.
This is the type of club we end up becoming if we just keep, like sometimes we're so up and down. Sometimes we let go of a player like Kyle Walker-Peters when he's like way on the up, and we let him go too easy. Or the other flip side of it, we keep a player for 8 years and he finally starts to have a good game, and we're like, oh, well, let's keep him for another 20. So at some point we got to sell when your assets are up, and now his asset is really up. We could probably get 40-50 million for this guy, And
I don't know what
he probably goes to another team and wins a trophy in his first season. It's the typical thing, So I don't know. But I do respect that he has kept in it. He's kept playing. He's played through tough times, and he is playing better. And fair play to the guy. And I hope he plays amazingly well to the end of the season and gets us over this hump in the top four. But who knows?
All right. Well, I think that brings a close to the Tottenham hour. We've discussed.
We're not going to talk about the Bala. I can't stop came out here talking about the ball.
I don't get anyone's hopes up just yet, Brains. We've been crushed. I don't think anyone's ready to get hurt like that again. No one's ready just yet. But thank you guys for giving up your time and joining us for another great hour of Tottenham content. David, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me over at the Irish Hotspur match day blog. Will be going up now as soon as we finish here. And then I have a match breakdown, a tactical breakdown of the West Ham game. Tune in. It's going to be epic. And just get over to the Irish Hotspur. Smash that subscribe button. Big push for 7K is on. Let's go.
Let's go. Brains. I don't know if anything
I'm just here for the lulz. All you mental cases in the chat. I've been watching everything. Love all of you.
Someone's demanding a monologue from you, Brains.
I just gave it. I gave the Dier monologue. But listen,
DB says Brains is already a legend. Monologue, please. He asked nicely.
Look, DB, hit me up anytime you want. I'll give you any monologue you want.
Brains, writing that comment himself in the chat.
That was me. Brains is my other channel. I'm DB, man. No, but listen, if you want to hear dope music, that's actually what I do. Go and check out Brains McLeod on Spotify, Syllable and Brains on Spotify, or Hopeless Heroic if you like punk rock shit. And check out all the films that have been made about me. There's a lot of them out there. and we're making some new ones. So yeah, everyone, love. Come on, you Spurs. Love you guys.
Sai, thank you for joining us as well. I'm just afraid if we stay on any longer, that darkness is just going to overtake you. We just need to get out of here quick, just so you can get into some light.
I'm getting scared. There's bats flying around and everything.
Fucking production value there.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining as well. Thank you for your comments or your likes. Thank you for interacting and supporting the channel. Much appreciated. That's been another episode of the Tottenham Hour. It's an international break now, so I'm not sure if we're going to have one next week. But we'll see, obviously, when Matt Hayes and Ben are back, probably for the next hour. But thank you guys for coming on. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I played the wrong one.
Shamble.